Okay, this is video number 14 in the Red Flags of a Narcissist series. Red flag number 14 is flashes of inappropriate emotion. And so you might, if you've done some reading about narcissism, you've probably come across the term narcissistic rage. And this is a term, narcissists, some of them, I guess, according to the research, they're all very angry people. And sometimes they will fly into these rages. Sometimes their anger might seem somewhat reasonable. Often than not, it's more often than not, it's not a reasonable response to a situation. So it might be something like they spill their coffee on the table or whatever. And a normal person might be upset. They might swear, but they're going to clean it up. They're going to get on with their life. A narcissist, if this might happen, might pick up the cup and throw it against the wall. Like they rage. These rages can also lead to, physical violence. It can lead to rape. It can lead to all kinds of more like extreme behaviors. A lot of victims that I've spoken to, they've seen this rage after the narcissist feels they have them hooked somehow. So it might be after, like during the honeymoon, like right after they get married. That's when he first starts hitting or flies into a rage or becomes abusive, or after the first child, or sometimes after the second child. I don't know why they tend to wait until there's like 2 children, but sometimes they do. So it's sort of like once they have the victim on the hook, this behavior, they turn really just verbally hateful and abusive and just horrid. And again, it can lead to, destroying things. It can lead to hitting. It can lead to sexual assaults. It can lead to all kinds of things. The other types of inappropriate emotions that narcissists have can also be crying, laughing, or an eerie state of calm. And it's weird. It's like narcissists don't really experience emotions the same way as the rest of us. I don't know why that is necessarily, but they don't. And part of it is that's kind of what drives their erratic behavior is they're always in this state of boredom, and they entertain themselves by these manipulations, by following their whims. They're very, very immature and very childlike in that regard. So crying at inappropriate times. A lot of people think that narcissists can't cry, and that's not true. I've seen it firsthand. I know a lot of other people have too. However, keep in mind that every single thing that they do is there's some sort of end game for it. It's always a manipulation, and crying is no different. So they might cry. They might not cry at a time that it would be appropriate. Let's say they have their parent that narcissists aren't really close to anybody, so it's not like they have a parent they're close to, but maybe a parent that they got along with, right? Dies, or their child dies. That's even, I hate to even use that as an example, but let's say that happens. A normal person would cry. They might not shed a tear. Or let's say they're in a situation where somebody that they don't know that well, maybe that's like a coworker, who works down the hall that they see every now and again, maybe that person dies. And I'm sorry, these examples are so grim, but it's all that's coming to mind right now. So they have this, let's say they have this coworker that dies that they don't like, that they really didn't know. And they might just be absolutely besides themselves and just crying and sobbing and not handling things well at all. Well, that's not an appropriate response to that situation, right? Like a normal person, if you had that happen, you might be really shocked and just feel, really sad for this person's family. But if you didn't know them that well, you're probably not going to be, crying yourself, crying in front of, having to leave work because you can't regain your composure. That doesn't fit. So, here's another example with crying. Some narcissists, and I've seen this too, do fake crying. And if you've never seen this in person, it's really wild. It's so weird to see an adult fake cry. And again, it's like their inner 4-year-old who really thinks that they're convincing us that they're really crying. And it's so obvious that they're not. They're even like wiping away tears that aren't there. They're, I'm so sorry. I can't. Come on. A 10-year-old could see that that's not real. So it's very, very strange. again, it's all for some sort of end game manipulation, for attention, for, status, for some sort of social, whatever, proof that they are decent people. There's something behind that. Okay, so the other term, like laughing, is another form of inappropriate emotion. I've heard people say that their narcissists have laughed at like horror movies or things that are not funny at all. That's really disturbing. I'd have to think about that. I don't think I've ever seen that in my own life, but it doesn't shock me at all because they don't have that like internal gauge of appropriateness that the rest of us do. And then, okay, the eerie state of calm. A lot of narcissists really do come across like just zen. Like when everybody else is freaking out, they are just this like eerie state of calm. My ex, Steve, he was a paramedic. So that was like the perfect profession for him to stay eerily calm because it made him really good at his job because really nothing fazed him. So sometimes that can actually kind of work in their benefit. But, I remember, I was going to say, I remember when Jack got fired from his job and he was so calm. But, now that I think about it, I don't think he quit. I don't think he got fired. I think he quit. And I think that's why he was so eerily calm because he knew it was coming. But at the time, I remember thinking, why is he so calm? We just signed a lease on this new place and I'm not paying for you. So I don't know what you're thinking. But a lot of them, the house, actually, okay, here's a better situation with Jack. We had this one time, we used to live out in the middle of nowhere, like on 20 acres, surrounded by another couple hundred acres on this like small little mountain in the country. And there were probably like 6 other people that lived out there. And we all had propane tanks and it was very, very rustic. We had some of our neighbors, they had a propane leak in their house and their house exploded. And we saw it and we heard it. And it was terrible. And to see it, it was so loud. They were probably about half a mile away. It shook our windows. I thought we were going to that one of our windows was going to break. I thought it was like a jet plane. It was just with like a sonic boom. It was so loud. And I remember telling Jack, we saw the debris fly up in the air. And I was screaming at him, like, you need to go, like, go get help because they're probably, if they are still alive, they're probably really hurt. And I was calling 911. And he was like moving as slow as a turtle. There was no, time is of the essence with him. He was content to just kind of move at this slow pace. And I couldn't get over how he was so calm about it when these people that we knew and we liked and they had their house just exploded, that it wasn't good. Very, very strange. So thankfully, strangely enough, they did survive, and so did all of their dogs. They had like 2 or 3 dogs at the time. Everybody survived without broken bones or anything. It was absolutely a miracle. But just so you know how that story ended. So yes, flashes of inappropriate emotion. Watch out for this. Watch out for some warning signs. Oftentimes, there are warning signs earlier on in a relationship. Impatience, irritability, frustration. These kinds of things that that kind of behavior tends to just get worse. It doesn't get better. Another example, I think that it can come out is when they're driving. Now that I'm thinking about it, a lot of them are really bad drivers because they're just impulsive. So they're really bad drivers and they can get road rage really easily. So, pay attention to that. It's not the kind of person that you want to be with. So that's it for red flag number 14. If you like usual, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, frustrations, ideas for videos, you have your own story about any of these red flags that you want to share with me, you can email me. We can make it anonymous, or you can just share it down below if you feel comfortable putting it out there. Or you can chat me up on my website, narcissistsupport.com, or on Facebook. My group is also called Narcissist Support. So thank you. Have a good evening. We'll see you soon.